the Mr. Sports Podcast. Welcome to the Mr. Sports.
Welcome, episode.
It's a Jedi, episode 30. Is that the worst place? I don't know why I'm talking about this right now. What is the worst place to get a sunburn? The back of your knee. That's where I get it all the time. For some reason, I don't reach back there, so I get it right in the crease. So whenever I bend my knees, just burning.
What are you doing that you're getting sunburn on the back of your knee?
Like the back of my knee and the tops of my feet always get sunburned.
Like what position are you in? You're just like laying face.
Hi guys, I'm a tan man. Somehow my back of my knees are showing. I get them burnt at the same time. Somehow my back of my knees are showing and my feet. I turn them sideways. Like this. What's he doing? Oh, that's just where he likes to be.
Yeah. Oh, and you just fell asleep like that. That's why you got sunburn. You're just out like that for too long.
All right, let's talk about some actual sports stuff now. So the Texans extended wide receiver Brandin Cooks to a 2-year deal, and like that's great for it's great for the Texans stuff. But it got me finally thinking, like, are the Texans actually going to start keeping around these cornerstone guys? Because like D-Hop traded away for a second-round pick, or traded away for a second, a fourth, and David Johnson, J.J. Watt released. Like maybe they're finally realizing maybe we should keep some of these guys around that want to be Texans. You know, there's very few.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you would. How much do you have? How much he's getting paid?
No, they just released that he's getting a 2-year extension.
I hope it's a lot. He deserves a lot, man.
They said, please just stay, man. Because I remember when the D-Hop trade first happened, and everyone was like, is this the worst trade of all time? Because everyone was thinking, it's going to be like a first at least. And then they come back with a second, fourth, and David Johnson, who, if this was like 14, David Johnson would have been insane. But it was long past his prime.
Yeah, I mean, the Texans got a couple things to sort out, I think.
They've always just had problems, and it's finally good to just start seeing being like, you know what, I guess we'll keep a good guy around.
I think there's still a lot of question marks at QB of what they're gonna of who's gonna be throwing to him.
Exactly, because Davis Mills had a good season, but still I don't know, man. He was a late draft pick. Is he gonna be your guy, or are you still looking for other options now? Like, what if they take some dude high? You know?
Yeah, which is. I mean, yeah, they just got a lot of stuff they need to build up.
They just got a lot of problems, man. That's just what they say. It's like if all the NFL teams meet and they're going by 1-1, and it's and then there's the Texans. They're just in the corner. They have a lot of things they need to sort out.
99 problems, but Brandin Cooks is not one.
That's clean, dude. That was clean. You just come up with that?
No, actually, Jay-Z told me that.
Okay.
What?
Jay-Z wrote that in. He said, please say this on the podcast next time.
He said, please start quoting me.
And then another thing, speaking of wide receivers, another thing people were talking about today was around Deebo Samuel and him taking all the Niner stuff out of his thing, changing his bio. And do you think he's just rebranding or something, or do you think this actually means he wants out?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of upsides to sports in the digital age with social media. It's cool that you feel really connected to players, to get to follow them and see kind of inside look into their training and what's going on in their life. But also, it's so stupid, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, that every little thing is
picked apart.
People read into everything, whether this person posted an Instagram story in this city. What does that mean?
Yeah, or exactly.
I just think, I don't know. I don't like that it's such a big deal every time. Who's following who's doing this.
I hate that part when it's he's... Well, there's two sides. I think it's really dumb how big the media jumps on it, and it's this means he's going here. You know what I'm saying? This means this means he's leaving. But also, a part of me, I'm okay, do they run their accounts? Or, it's sometimes suspicious. I'm why did he unfollow that?
That's the other thing is, it feels really childish or dumb to be reading so deeply into, what's he posting? Oh, he unfollowed this person. But then also at the same time,
he went out of his way.
Why would you it's a weird thing where you go out of your way to unfollow your team or take it out of your bio or do whatever. So maybe it does mean something. I think it's a dumb way to go about communicating what you're trying to say.
I think it's dumb for I think that's a dumb way that we have to find out what's happening. I think it's dumb how the media overreacts sometimes. But still, like, from the player perspective, it is weird. It's like, what? You had to go into your account and you had to go down and just go unfollow you. Like, you did it very specifically, and it's very weird to me.
Yeah, I can't understand the mindset of if it's a situation where you're upset with your front office or your team or whatever to be like, I know what I'll do. I'll unfollow their Instagram.
Yeah,
or I'll take them out of my bio.
Yeah, what bargaining chip is that? So, you know what, man? Because you're not giving me the contract I want right now, I'm going to unfollow you guys on Instagram.
It's really weird, but I feel like we see it all the time now.
And yeah, like Kyler Murray, right? Like, he took everything off. You always see players like, it's always in the news like, this player's deleted every picture of him in a blank jersey. And it's like, okay. Well.
And the other thing is that if I was an NFL player or in any sport, I would want to use that to mess with people because I feel like that'd be fun. Where I just in the middle of the season, I would just unfollow my team and follow another team or something.
Yeah, just for no reason.
Just because I could get people talking.
Exactly. Like we did that. I don't know if I can tell the story, but we did that with Derek one time. We had him post something. Like, just because randomly, it wouldn't be like, look how the media just overreacts. Like, if I post this, and he posted like just something. I think of him just wearing like a different color. And the media's like, like freaking out. This was like a few, like...
All he did, he just posted him photoshopped in a Chiefs jersey.
That would be the best. Like, I would do it if I was some, like, low-level guy. Just randomly start, following everyone. Like, what is going on? If I'm just, like, a backup quarterback, I unfollow my team and I follow a team that has, like, a great starting... I'm like, Chiefs. I was like, wait a minute, man. Or if I'm like Malik Willis, I'm following the Chiefs. And it's like, wait a minute, what's going on there? Like a draft prospect. Like, why is he following Aaron Rodgers?
Following all of them. Yeah, Malik Willis starts following like the Chiefs QB coach. And like,
what's going on here, man?
It's like,
did you say the octopus?
Every once in a while, I'll be having a good day, just going about my business. And then I remember that Sahil tried to argue that squids are the king of the ocean, not
a killer whale.
Not killer whales, not orcas. I almost said not shamus.
Not shamus. Because he thinks they're like in like mythological stuff where it's like miles long. Like that's how big a squid is. And not just
he's legit picturing the Kraken from Pirates of the Caribbean that's going to come up and swallow an entire ship and bring it down.
He's like, well, what's your killer whale going to do when my squid wraps around it and squeezes it to death? I'm like, oh, it's clean. I'm like, if you have a squid that big, man, you deserve to win.
No, the other one, he said that killer whale was like barely top 5 or something. He said anglerfish. I looked. That
was the best.
Because the anglerfish look scary in Finding Nemo. I looked it up. That thing's 3 feet long max.
Yeah, because he thought it was like arc where the thing's like this big. We're like, what do you think is in your top 5? Probably an anglerfish. You know why? Because Sahil is the type like, if they were like massive, he would fall for the trap. Like if he was walking and saw a light dangling, Sahil would go,
oh yeah. You're like, oh, what's that off there? You're just swimming towards the light.
He would for sure get caught by the anglerfish, 100%.
Oh, and if he was a pirate, how quickly is he falling for the sirens? The mermaids.
I would fall for it.
What song would they sing that would get you to hop over?
Right. No, I'd be in the boat.
If I was a pirate and we set sail, I look over, see a beautiful mermaid, look at me, and start going, I'm on that ultralight beam.
I'm going right in. If I'm just steering my thing, I'm like flipping it, and I hear, little puppy, I adore you. It's just a mermaid. I'm like, all right, man, I'm going in. Guys, no, I promise there is a mermaid in the water, and she's singing Pop Smoke. I'm going in the water. And when she drowns me, biggest smile on her face. Worth it. It was 50-50. If there was like an ocean NFL, the squid might be the GOAT. It could catch the ball like this.
I mean, I legit don't even know where to go with that question. like I don't know how to. It might be.
Imagine the blue whales are running back. It's just the biggest fish. So opening day was today and tomorrow for the MLB, and it got me thinking about one thing. It's always what I think about for some reason when I watch baseball. It's why are the managers wearing the uniforms? It is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life.
It's because they used to play.
Don't say that.
So I mean, it's not that they used to play. It's that one of the players used to be the manager. Basically, It used to be a player manager. So it was a player on the team that also like
he would have to hit.
Submitted the lineup and stuff. Like it was a player on the team that also had the responsibilities of manager and just like evolved from there. At least I'm pretty sure that's
okay. Because that makes more sense than just a 60-year-old dude in full gear like that. Just sits down there. And it got me thinking, what if other coaches from different sports had to wear the uniform? Could you imagine like an NHL coach sitting there being like, "Puck."
Greg Popovich in a tank top on the chilling in the Spurs uniform.
The picture of Andy Reid doing the NFL kickoff in the Rams uniform. You might have to put that on here. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's like 8-year-olds, Andy Reid, big gut, 1-bar helmet, kicking at halftime. Could you imagine just him standing out there? It'd be the funniest thing ever. You could sneak him in for a play; they wouldn't even notice.
Oh yeah, you could run some.
You could run some
trick plays with Andy Reid if you have a coach coming off the sideline in uniform.
Oh yeah, like Sean McVay probably could because he's like one of the youngest coaches. He would actually do good. But if you put some of the other guys out there, their hearts would explode.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So imagine Andy Reid versus like Aaron Donald. What would that matchup look like?
I think he's getting.
You think he got sacked
2 yards?
Do you think Aaron? Like I was saying, if Andy Reid was blocking Aaron Donald.
Oh, I was putting him at running back. I was putting him at fullback.
Oh, that's clean. Like Mike Allstott out there.
He could pick up 2 or 3 yards.
I was having a conversation with Derek and my dad like a little bit ago, and I was like, I'm fairly certain. This is gonna sound so dumb. Now I'm thinking about it, like this is gonna be the most dumb thing ever. I was like, I'm fairly certain I could at least block Aaron Donald for a second.
No.
Like 1 full second, I feel like I could do.
A second is a long time.
That's true.
But there's no world in which you block Aaron Donald for a second.
I think I'd play. You'd put me at center, so I have some help, and I think I could.
No.
I think I could brace. I think I could brace for at least a second.
I think the difference between how long it would take Aaron Donald to get to the quarterback if you were blocking versus if there's literally nobody there
is
0.05 seconds. I think it takes him a little second to go like that, and that's
the only difference. The only like second that would be him blocking would be him walking over my dead body. So the only way I could do it was if I curled down, so he would have to step over me. He'd have to adjust like very slightly just to walk over my body.
Yeah, your only shot would be to just like get wide so you can at least slow him down.
Imagine if it's like ready, and I just go fetal position at it.
You'd have to be going for the legs every time.
Oh yeah. I just please. How many prayers am I saying when I'm diving?
Or do you just try to get in his Aaron? No, Aaron, please.
Aaron.
LeBron. Hit him with the Aaron. Remember who you are. This isn't you. You're not a violent person.
Aaron, I have kids.
Aaron, think about your family. Look at the quarterback. Think about his family.
That's right. We have legit friends, I won't say who they are, that think they could catch, like, out of 10, they could get a first down against prime Deion. We have real friends who think if it's one-on-one, they could get a first down versus Deion.
In how many shots do you
10.
get? 10 shots? Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm one of them, bro. if you give me 10 opportunities.
You think you get 10 yards?
If I'm against Deion Sanders in one-on-one man coverage.
Yeah.
And you give me 10 tries, I'm getting a first down at least once.
Oh, you think you get one play and you break it? You're not doing chip yards to 10?
Like maybe like 3 drag routes?
Because one of our boys said they would just keep running it like smoke screens. They'd just turn around and catch it.
Because here's the deal is that those plays...
I like we're thinking like it's a science.
If I run 2 yards... hit back, turn around real quick, try to catch it. I think the only way that he isn't getting to the ball first anyways in press coverage is if the quarterback is throwing the ball really fast. Yeah. If the quarterback's throwing it really fast, I'm not catching it. That thing's hitting me in the chest.
I'm walking up to the quarterback and I go, listen, somehow I have to cook Deion so we have separation. You have to throw it really easy. Like, listen, somehow I'm going to cook him, and you have to throw it, like, tap it to me.
Legitimately, I would need if you get a good O-line and I'm running like it's just recess football where it's not even a route. I'm just running
just
around.
It's just like that. Like, okay, what if we do it like you have 4 downs?
No.
You don't think so? You guys can let us know, too. Would you get a first down against Deion Sanders, one-on-one? Just you and him.
In 4 downs, no, I'm not.
But
if
in
you give
10,
me
you get
10,
it first.
yes, absolutely. Yeah. I don't know why. I said absolutely a little too confidently that it came out and I didn't.
Well, actually, we have Deion Sanders right here. It just wasn't. I can't imagine. Like,
also, is this prime Deion or is it Deion now?
No, he has his toes. This is prime Deion.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm still cooking.
Can you? What I was thinking, I was like,
prime Deion might be the same as Deion. Deion might be in prime.
I don't think it's wavered much.
Deion Sandcastle.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Deion, prime Deion, and Deion now has any difference how much he cooks me right now. I don't think it's any difference. But the only thing I was thinking, I was like, what if I hit like a little, I go through like a hitch, and then he tries to jump it and I take off. But I was thinking, I was like, he's so much faster than me. By the time I turn my back to go the other way, he's already caught up.
That's the thing is like, it needs to be the second that you lose him for that you get any separate. The second you get separation, the ball needs to be there because he's closing the separation. If you means, completely make him miss and go running the wrong direction, he's still getting back to you.
Also
like
bad.
Half a second later.
That's also bad for you because you said he can't throw the ball. Don't throw the ball that hard.
The quarterback just needs to predict. The ball needs to be on its way as he's going in another direction. So he needs to not be looking at the ball.
Just at me because I'm such a danger at wide receiver. He has to focus on me the whole time. I think I would, if I tried that route we were just talking about, I would try to turn so fast my body wouldn't be ready. Everything in my knee is blown out. Like, for me, when's the last time you ran full speed? Have you ran full
sprint?
Full speed, yeah, like you're, like, going. I haven't ran full speed since high school. So I'm thinking if I tried to make my body from hasn't run full speed since high school to instantly needs to turn on a dime, my knee's going,
now I'm thinking about I haven't sprinted in that's one of those things where once you're like if you're not playing a sport
when are you gonna be running?
If you're not playing a sport, once you're an adult, you're not
sprinting.
Bro. Yeah, like running, but
like cardio, I jog, but I'm not going like there's not lions on my way to the gas station I have to like run away from. I think my knee would be gone if I had to turn on a dime and run at my fullest potential. It would just go. I'd get 2 receptions, 3 yards, a blown ACL, blown MCL.
Well, I'm thinking about.
Do you think you could get? I think I could get at least a yard as in an NFL game as a running back. I think I can get 1 yard.
In one, you only get one shot, one opportunity.
I think if you give me 4 downs,
one shot, one opportunity. Would you capture or just let it slip?
Like, we're putting in Austin Carr. I have the neck roll like Bo Jackson. I could get 1. I think in 4 downs, I could get a yard in an NFL game.
I'm probably getting 1 and 1.
Actually, you know what? Now
if everybody does their job.
If everyone does their job and let me do mine.
If I like.
Don't let me get open field.
This is a above average offensive line.
Yeah. We'll say you're in like prime Steelers offensive line.
And it has to be up the middle because if it's a pitch, I'm not getting a yard. They're closing that. If I need to round a corner, if it's a counter, anything, I need to round a corner. It's not happening. I'm not rounding.
If the play involves me having to turn up the field, it's
I need if it's one of those plays where you're watching on TV going, turn it. No, I'm not turning it.
I need the quarterback to legit get the snap and just turn and hand it and let me just hit full speed, Mach 10. I probably wouldn't stop to wait for a gap either. My center's getting nailed in the back of the head.
Maybe you put me out. It's like a wildcat.
Oh, that's good. I got QB sneak for a yard.
Oh, I'm QB sneaking for 3 yards.
So basically, what we've determined today is that the Texans are still trash, and me and you could cook Deion. We could get first down the NFL.
But opening day. You know what that means? Only 162 games and a postseason until the Dodgers are reigning World Series champions.
Oh, that's good. I like that you know all the numbers about like opening day and stuff we're talking about. Still a thing that's always talked about with the MLB is some of these teams and their appearance policies still. We have this little beef between Freddie Freeman, who's now a Dodger, and Ronald Acuña. Because because Acuña came out and he's like, we weren't friends and stuff like that. And Freddie Freeman says the reason is because he was trying to keep these like old MLB like things true for the Braves. Like, keep your hair short, don't put all this face paint on in batting practice, wear your uniform to batting practice. How do you feel about that?
I feel like that's BS, to be honest. I feel like Freddie might think that. I mean, that might be something that Ronald Acuña told him.
Yeah.
But I don't think that, because the other day, like a night or two ago, Ronald Acuña was doing like an Instagram Live interview.
Yeah.
And the interviewer asked him, "What do you miss about Freddie Freeman?"
Yeah.
And he said nothing. And he said, "You weren't friends?" "No, we weren't friends." That's not. You don't say that because you disagreed about appearance.
That wasn't like.
Maybe that's what you.
He made me keep my hair short. Like, it wasn't that type of thing.
You might have had a conversation about that, but that's not something that you.
Yeah.
I feel like straight up saying I don't miss anything about him.
It's like, we were not boys. Like,
about the guy who helped you win a World Series.
Exactly. Yeah. It wasn't like we just didn't talk much. It was like we're not friends. Like, it was one of those.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It felt like
I miss nothing about him. I don't think that's.
Because if you were just dudes, like if me and you were on a team and we weren't like boys, but we were just like teammates and we didn't butt heads, you'd be like, oh, he was a great player on the team. You wouldn't be like, I miss nothing about him. That means like we've had beef, man.
Yeah, any teammates have. Well, I don't think it's necessarily even that they have. It's hard to imagine them having beef, really. I just think Acuña is tripping that Freddie's gone or something.
Yeah,
I mean, which is ridiculous to be mad at Freddie for not being in Atlanta anymore.
Yeah.
Because I think, which I think the vast majority of Atlanta Braves fans, the fans are like, obviously they aren't happy to see him in a Dodgers uniform, but he was there for like 12 years. Mm-hmm. Was an all-star however many times and won a World Series for them. Like, you can't be upset, and I think most people and fans recognize that, but maybe Acuña is personally hurt by him not being there.
I think maybe Acuña's personally hurt, and I think Freddie Freeman's excuse is maybe just something so it, like, the tension can die down, like, between the media. You know, he's just like, oh, it's probably just this. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe he's just trying to sweep it under the rug. He's like, he doesn't really want to talk about them bashing heads or anything. He's like, well, I just, I keep the rules strict at, like, in Atlanta, like one of those types of things. It's just interesting, man. It's like, it's always weird seeing like two teammates when they leave, like butt heads, or like two teammates, but it's always like, oh, these guys are like good friends, they're teammates. They're like, it's always like, oh, they're probably good with each other. And then when it separates, it's like, oh, these guys do not really like each other. Like the whole Shaq and Kobe thing. It's like, oh, these guys, they weren't tight.
Yeah, but that was the whole way along. That was before they.
It would have been different if
before Shaq was gone. Everybody already knew that they didn't get along.
It would have been different if during like the World Series we saw these two just screaming at each other in the dugout.
if they got into an actual fight and started pushing each other like that.
I didn't see how they don't like each other. They're just legit screaming, throwing bats. Put your hat on. You see what Colin Cowherd said? What he would do if he was the NBA commissioner? That he would like lower the games to like 60-something games and eliminate back-to-backs and stuff like that. Like he said, no back-to-backs, eliminate, cut down the season. Yeah.
That's interesting because Colin Cowherd has been pretty critical of load management.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that he would say that. I think that's...
Oh, and he said that he would make a requirement for all the scoring titles, stuff like that. You have to play a certain number of games to be able to receive the award.
I don't care what they do with the awards. I thought we played for chips, not individual awards. So give the scoring title to whoever you want. I thought we wanted to win chips
because like people are talking about today.
But I don't think. I think there should be. I think that's way too few games.
I think so too. Because people are talking about today, like why this was coming up is like the load manager stuff. People always talk about that, and people were talking like, should LeBron go for the scoring title like with the season over? Because Colin was saying, if he like boosted up to try to get the scoring title in the last 2 games, is he going to look like he was taking it easy earlier in the season with his team?
See, I think that shouldn't be a mentality throughout the season where you shouldn't be playing for a scoring title. I mean, you should be playing to get W's. But
like if you were him if you were LeBron, you were eliminated like in the playoffs. You had 2 games left. Would you still go play, or would you be like, I'm done for this season, like I'm out?
I think it depends. If he's physically healthy and able, I think he should be playing.
Yeah.
he also hurt his ankle not that long ago. I mean, he's missed like 22 games or something. Like he's missed a lot of games this season because he just has had injuries.
Yeah, as people are saying, the scoring title is between him and DeMar DeRozan, but DeMar DeRozan has played more, so people say give it to him, and LeBron averages more points on fewer games.
But I don't understand why you would, if you're concerned about stuff like that, if players are getting injured, having a shorter season just means that if they're hurt,
it affects it more.
Yeah, instead that means you hurt your ankle, you miss 2 weeks. You're missing a much higher percentage of the season than if there was 82 or 80.
Because I don't think it's as black and white as people are saying that the scoring title they should have to pick. Is it points per game or total number of points scored in the season? I don't think it's that easy to be like it's this one or it's this one, because that's what they're fighting over DeMar versus LeBron for. Like I think it should just be like combined. Like this dude's played the most. He averages points per game. I mean, it's kind of a combination of all of it.
In an ideal world, it shouldn't make a difference because players should be playing pretty much every game.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's something that's unfortunate with the NBA today, or one of the things I'd most criticize is that so many of the veteran players. I mean, it's one thing if you're getting hurt, then you can't play.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of players potentially not playing just because they're just not playing that game for load management or because they're like a little bit unhealthy, I think is just stupid.
I think it's ridiculous too. Yeah, because you're not getting paid to play like 60 games, right? You're getting paid to play the season, right? They're not being like, okay, we're paying you to play this amount of games. We're paying you to play in the season, right? We're paying you to play. If you're not hurt the whole time, right? We're not going to be like, you need to take some time off.
I also think it communicates. Like, if you look at March Madness, everybody loves Doug Edert from St. Peter's. Like, he was one of the people that this March Madness, everybody was like, oh, he's great. The reason why people love him is not because he's the second coming of Michael Jordan. It's because just as a 15 seed, St. Peter's played like they wanted to win and they were hungry. Exactly. But I think for a lot of players, a lot of NBA teams, it doesn't. You just don't see that. Like, that's why the Lakers finished absolutely with a horrible season, and the whole season along, it looked like they just kind of
didn't care.
Like they just didn't look hungry.
That's why people always say like, college basketball, college football is always more competitive, or like more not competitive as like they're more talented, but more competitive. Like these guys are trying to get to the league, so it's the next step. These are trying to win this championship, so they're always playing with more. They look like they're playing with more heart than like their professional respective teams.
Yeah, I think there's for sure less a sense of ego and entitlement.
Yeah.
Like earlier on or in college.
Yeah.
But,
because you haven't made it yet, you know what I'm saying? So you have to keep fighting to get to that point.
Yeah, once you're still you're not going to become apathetic when you're trying to get to the league. You're trying to get drafted, but
exactly. And people were like talking about I don't really get involved with like this, like the GOAT stuff. As I always say, like it's kind of weird because it's hard to compare different types of stuff. But we were saying LeBron not making the playoffs this year takes him out of like it's MJ's the GOAT now. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think MJ is the GOAT.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a matter of because this season.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, this season. I think you can look at this season and give LeBron a lot of credit. You can also look at this season and there's things to criticize about him.
Exactly.
But none of those criticisms are about his athletic ability. I don't think. Exactly. I think this season proved his athletic ability to be like insanely talented, especially for how old he is.
He's one of the most like talented athletes, like physically wise, of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's never taking away like him athletically and stuff like that. It's always like when people try to say like Kobe or stuff like that, it's just like the mentality and stuff comes in. Like it's like Kobe's this good not because he was the most talented, gifted, even though he was, is because of his like mentality and his work ethic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, well, that's why you have some players like Kobe. I mean, Kobe said in an interview that like they asked him where would Shaq be if he had your work ethic, and he said he'd be the greatest player of all time by far.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's sort of twofold, that there's your work ethic, your mentality, and then also physical talented ability.
Yeah.
But in terms of this season counting against LeBron, I think LeBron is old enough to where we're at the point in his career that anything he does from now on, if he has poor seasons,
yeah,
most players wouldn't still be in the league at this point.
Exactly.
So you can't really, if he has a bad season, then obviously but also you can't really count it. I think we're to the point where anything else helps his case, but anything negative doesn't necessarily really hurt.
Because I don't think
or at least not in a purely athletic, physical way.
He's nowhere near. It's not like him playing is hurting the Lakers. It's not one of those things, right? Where it's like, oh, he's this like Hall of Famer, he's the greatest of all time, so we're gonna keep him on the team until he says he's done, right? He's leading this team still. He still has all this ability left. Him on the court isn't hurting the Lakers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like some other guys, like people criticizing Russ and stuff. It's like with these turnovers, like why is he even playing right now? Like he's hurting the team. LeBron still has this ability to play where he's not hurting the team right now.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that LeBron will never be a liability.
Yeah.
I think he could be in the league for another 10 years and retire, and he would still
be averaging.
That's interesting. You said he'd average 30 points in 10 years. But I think no matter what, he won't ever be to the point where he's like
a detriment.
Like he's hurting his team.
Yeah.
His role will change.
It's like the thing with Tom Brady where he's like, I'm gonna retire when I feel like I can't play the game anymore. You know, and so Tom Brady.
I guess he feels like he can.
Yeah,
play. I guess he decided he was wrong when he said.
That's the same thing of like Tiger Woods. He's like, I'm never going to enter a tournament unless I feel like I can win it. So it's the same thing. Like all these big athletes have the mentality like, I'm never going to hurt the team. When I feel like I can't play anymore, I'm just not going to play.
Yeah, well, especially to LeBron's benefit and downfall, I think he does have an ego, and I think he wants to protect that ego, which. Is motivating. It's motivation to want to continue to see how many more seasons you can be dominant for.
Yeah.
But also it's reason to not want to stick around to the point where you're just
exactly.
You need to be done.
And like I don't know why it's turning into a LeBron criticism episode, but I saw people also talking about like this week, like as LeBron was in the interview and LeBron calls himself the greatest of all time again, like this last week, and people were like, a GOAT wouldn't say that. Do you think that matters at all? If he was like making the case why he's the greatest of all time. Like
I think that most of the people in the GOAT discussion have at one point or another referred to themselves as such.
Because I know Kobe did at
on the Jimmy Kimmel show.
Yeah, where he.
I think part of it. I mean, it's all context and how you communicate that. I don't think you should be going around saying. Like flexing on people, I'm the greatest to ever do. I'm the greatest to ever do. But also, if you think about Kobe's mentality and character, the way he was, and Jimmy Kimmel asked him to rank him, Michael Jordan, and LeBron. In what world would Kobe not put himself first?
Yeah, and what like
his entire mentality was based on wanting to be
the greatest of all time,
the greatest, or at least to be the greatest version of himself.
Yeah, it's hard because like LeBron, like. I think he was right in what he was saying. Not about him being like the greatest of all time, but he was like, I've won 2 of the hardest rings of all time, right? The comeback, and then he's coming I almost called it the Mickey Mouse ring. I didn't want to say that, but the bubble ring, like right when it was in the bubble season, he claims those were 2 of the hardest rings.
But why would that one be so difficult?
I think he was saying it was hard just
because the 3-1 comeback. I mean, obviously that's a tough. Comeback,
I think it's a different. Like type of difficulty. I think he was saying that because of all like just COVID and like all the restrictions, having to be over there, can't leave your hotel. I think that's why he was saying that's one of the hardest ones of all time.
Yeah, the restrictions that everybody else in the league had to go through. The restrictions that everybody else was also up against.
And then like we can just talk about this now. I have it on here like he deleted the tweet about don't sleep on like our age and stuff like that, and people are.
I mean, there's so many like.
There's so many memes about that. Have you seen the one?
All the takes from the beginning of the year.
Yeah, well, anytime you take what you said in the beginning and compare it to the end, it's probably going to be wrong or very different from what happened.
I think they said 1984 was the first time that they started like announcing, like the Vegas favorite to win the chip at the start of the season, and this is the first time ever. That the team that was favored 1 or 2 to win didn't even make the playoffs the first time ever. And potentially, if the Nets lose in the play-in, number 1 and 2 could not make the playoffs.
That's 2 of the teams that everyone... It wasn't, like we talked about earlier, it wasn't like oh, these guys are going to be a good team in the playoffs. It was like, these are the two teams where like, these guys are going to be in the finals. Like, these are going to be guys fighting for the finals. And now one of them's out and one of them's barely scraping in at the end.
Yeah, I think the season has gone on for so long and the Lakers have been so bad and struggled the entire season that people have forgotten, like, because people are used to, like, how the Lakers are playing now, where Anthony Davis hardly ever plays, Russ doesn't play well, and, like, all these things. But think about the beginning of the year where the expectations were, and it's like it's insane that this is where we're at.
Exactly. It's that saying, like, what hindsight is like 20/20 vision, right? It's hard to tell back then because, like, also we were talking about earlier, like the Russ trade back then looked like, oh, this is perfect, right? Like the Lakers getting Russell Westbrook. Like, should be a great trade.
Yeah, I mean, I think that from the beginning there were obviously questions or concerns about, is this team too old?
Yeah.
But also, no matter how old they are, 5 future Hall of Famers at the time,
Exactly.
6 future Hall of Famers, and you're at least, if you're not winning a chip, you're at least competing.
Yeah, you're at least competing. Yeah, and then
because the idea was, okay, this is a win now team. It's going to be rough for a couple years, but right now is win now. We win it this year, and instead didn't even make the playoffs during your win now.
Yeah,
year.
that's so what, because I saw people talking about like, what do you think, being a Lakers fan? They're saying Anthony Davis was supposed to be like the heir to the Lakers, right? Like LeBron was supposed to pass the torch to him. If you could go back, would you have still done the trade?
I mean, there were a lot of players from that trade that they gave up. Obviously, Lonzo has developed really well since leaving LA. Brandon Ingram is great. I think it doesn't say as much about Anthony Davis specifically as it says about big men in the NBA. I don't think it's a good idea to have a big man as your
number one guy.
As your guy.
Yeah, because the game's changed so much, right? Like back the day, you could have guys, right, like Kareem and like all those guys. They could be your number one, but now the league's moved to more like small ball, like people say, right? Like, so these shooters and these like these amazing like pass artists have become your number one guy.
Well, I even just think from a physical perspective, there's a lot of positions that their athletic peak is like 31 years old, maybe something like that is the peak of their career, 30 years old. For big men, I think a lot of the times it's sooner than that.
Yeah, because big men are in the trend
because you're getting
injured so much.
I mean, when you're that tall and lanky, some of the times you're just so prone to injury.
Yeah, especially like Kevin Durant. He's not like going in the post every single time. He's more of a shooter, but even still, like, he's tall and lanky, and you see him getting all these injuries. You know, like that he's had to battle through, like the Achilles one, which that one was so gross watching it. Like on TV, because you could see it go up his like calf.
Yeah,
that one was it like bungee corded up. That one was awful.
You could
to
see
watch.
like recoil bouncing up his the back of his calf.
that one's just awful. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think the Lakers should rebuild, or do you think?
Yeah, everybody needs to go.
Everybody,
not everybody, but
LeBron, AD stay.
But all of.
You think everyone?
All of the future Hall of Famers need to be gone.
Yeah.
You can keep some of there's some good young guys.
You would let like LeBron like choose where he wants to go.
I think anybody on the team that has high trade value right now.
Yeah, just restart. Yeah,
should be gone.
Because if you think about like what
I mean, LeBron's not winning another ring in Los Angeles.
I think they, like you said, they put so much on like, we need to win now. They got rid of all their young guys, so now you're at this position where like, well, now we're stuck. Because this obviously isn't a team that looks like they can win a championship next year. So what needs to happen? It's like
if you could do a trade that gets rid of your older players, and in exchange you get like a Jason Tatum, Luka Doncic, Devin Booker type player, one of those young that obviously isn't necessarily that doesn't have the career as LeBron, isn't at that level, but is developed or developing.
Exactly.
Has upside.
I think it's the Lakers. It's time. Get some of these guys out. You know, don't end it on bad terms, but let's get them out. Let's get some new guys in. But you have you have young guys, the Lakers, that can shine, but they're not really getting that much playing time with all these like veterans and stuff too. You know, so we saw like Magic talking earlier, which was kind of a weird thing, where it's like, we were trying to get DeMar, but then LeBron wanted Russ, and then we had to get rid of our core guys, like our.
That was interesting because he also wasn't. I a part of the Lakers.
That's why I was That's why I was thinking. I was like, he wasn't the man.
I'm not gonna be there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be there.
Yeah, he was just a.
So
boy.
how does he know? He's just a dude, man.
I think they just call. I mean, Magic is Magic, so I guess they just keep him in the loop about stuff. But he's not. As far as I know, he's not in any official capacity for the Lakers at this point.
Is the Lakers coach gone too at the end?
I don't know.
I
mean, when you have a team this good and don't even make the playoffs,
some of the blame's gonna fall on you.
It's hard to not blame Frank Vogel. Like, it's hard to not look at the coach, but
it's just like people looking at Steve
I also
Nash.
think that you could have the problems with this team just run so deep that you could put any coach in there and you could make the playoffs. I don't think you could win a championship though. Like, I don't think you
could. No. Like this, I think looking at back and looking at now, this should have been a team that was in it at least, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just hard. Like, it's the same thing that people are looking at the Nets with Steve Nash. It's like, if like this team's struggling and stuff, like, but you have these star players, like now they're playing together and now they're getting better, like Kyrie, like all that situation. But it's like the blame. Everyone starts to kind of look at the coach. It's like, you have these guys and you can't really do nothing with them. Like they're gonna look at Nash before they look at Kevin Durant. You know, they're gonna look at Steve Nash, like blame Steve Nash before they, like they're gonna look at the Lakers coach before they look at LeBron. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna go that way first before they ever start to like focus on like these star players.
Yeah, I mean, as long as they're playing well individually, like as long as LeBron is putting up points like he is, then it's hard to really blame him. Yeah. People can call the Dodgers a store-bought team all they want. They can say whatever they want.
Speak from the heart.
The Dodgers, they might be hated by other fan bases. I've come to realize
by
that.
Their own fan base?
No, by other fan bases. And I would say that, quite honestly, there's no simpler, but also no better way to put it to explain that phenomenon other than they hate us.
Yep.
Because they ain't us.
That's facts.
I mean,
you can't hate greatness, man.
It's. I mean, you can root against the Dodgers, but you can't blame them for signing and trading for good players. That's what you're supposed to do.
Who do you think gets the most hate? Because the Dodgers spend money and they win games. The Yankees spend money and they haven't been to the World Series since the early 2000s. So what do you think? What's worse? Like,
that's interesting.
Wait, what do you think is worse? Like, spending money and not making it, and people hate, so do people hate that more, or do people hate?
Well, I think the difference is that if you spend a ton of money and get all the players you want and then win a lot, your fan base loves you, other fan bases hate you.
Yeah.
If you do it the other way around, then it's the other way around. Because I don't think, like, if you spend a ton of money and then are trash, other fan bases, they're fine. They don't care.
It's almost like they're not even like mad, they're just like perplexed. It's like,
they're like, wait, so your lineup has
how much are you paying Garrett Cole? Oh, he's not. But stuff ain't really happening right now. and it's always like.
Did you see that video of Chris Christie, the former governor of New Jersey, said I don't know, Garrett Cole, he doesn't have the sticky stuff anymore.
And he said we're gonna be the Yankees are gonna be paying for that contract for a long time.
I mean, he still did good.
Yeah.
After they got rid of the sticky stuff, it's just, it takes a little while to readjust to
It's my favorite is the Dodgers sign someone and he's amazing and they go into the playoffs. The Yankees sign someone and it's like, oh, maybe next year, man. We'll get them soon. It's our time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think this should be a really good baseball season, though. There's some there'd be some teams out there.
Even though it's already 98 degrees and dying in our house.
Yeah,
the worst sunburn I've ever gotten was at Dodger Stadium. I was sitting in the outfield like
baseball.
Bam! Right in my mouth.
Baseball sunburns are the worst. The top of the knee.
Yeah.
If you're wearing shorts and it gets you just. Right,
I was sitting in the outfield.
Just exposed.
And it was just nailing me, dude.
Yeah,
worst sunburn I've ever gotten.
Day games cost less. Hey, it's worth it for.
There's a little reason, man. And then when the sun finally starts going down, you're like, oh, please.
Yeah, well, there's one. I went to a Dodgers game in San Francisco last year, and it was what time? I think it was some time of the year that was hot for sure because it was so hot.
One of the warmer months.
I mean, we were just sitting there, so hot, so sunny, and just people yelling, beat
Yeah.
LA at us.
Like, I can't imagine like you when you went
losing.
when you went to the Boston game. Was it hot over there still? Like I hope East Coast game.
It was raining.
Oh, man, that's
it was one of those where I got to about the 7th or 8th inning and rain would come in and then it would kind of leave and then it'd be, but it was never that bad. So they're like, please, we just need to get like two more outs and then the game will be over. Please don't give us a rain delay in the 8th inning right now. Don't end the game like this.
But you know what happens when I'm at Dodger Stadium and that sun's hit me in the face? Instantly those thoughts are gone when my mom hands me one of those hat cups with the ice cream in it. I'm like, and I don't think about it anymore.
And then in your head, I Love LA by Randy Newman is playing.
Because I love my Massachusetts. Or someone's like, do you want a Dodger dog? I'm like, you go get me 4 of them. Like, I'm going to choke you out if you say that again.
What do I look like right now?
Do you want fries with that? I'm going to start crying. Go.
You know how you need to go through like security to get in?
Uh-huh.
They need to have you go through security to get out, so they see you empty your pockets of Dodger just pulling Dodger dogs out of your
foot long wieners.
Sir,
what's up, man?
Sir, what's this in your pocket? Just 5 Dodger dogs.
I'm so sorry.
I think they sell them at gas stations now. Maybe.
Is it the same?
They added a Shake Shack, I believe, also.
At Dodger Stadium?
Yeah, and guess what? This is me on Shake Shack.
Oh, yeah.
Dead asleep.
Oh, do you want Shake Shack or do you want Saucer's ice cream in a little helmet? Don't want to be shot in the head or given a hug. That's part of the vibe. I don't want a Dodger dog from just a gas station. I have to be there.
No, I don't think that's. I don't care. I don't care if it's the exact same ingredients cooked the exact same way. It's not a Dodger dog.
It's not a Dodger dog.
Why? Dodger dog is about the atmosphere.
I swear they even get smaller bread than normal ones because it's like bread and then it's. I'm like, all right.
And
I'm not going to be eating bread for 4 inches.
Super wrinkly bread.
And you always look and there's some kid, like some toddler that they gave a Dodger dog and he's just gripping the bread.
Also, what they probably don't realize or what people listening don't know is I'm allergic to hot dogs.
Yeah, and he still goes crazy.
You think I want to still grub on a Dodger dog?
That's how when you know the boys have been down bad when I go downstairs this much eating a hot dog. Aren't you allergic to that, man? Yeah.
This episode is up on Friday. If last night Shohei Ohtani beamed Jose Altuve, it's because I DM'd him.
That's clean. I messaged DM'd Garrett Cole too. So if people look through my DMs, it's me messaging star athletes saying please.
People joke about it, but I'd be DMing DMing athletes. And be like,
give me the right. Don't listen to them.
Good luck out there today. Happy birthday.
Billie Eilish, hey man.
No, that's
my bad, man.
No, that's a different type of DM,
that's my
isn't
bad,
it?
Really loved your music. keep it up.
Ocean Eyes spoke to me.
Did
you write Ocean Eyes about me? Or did you have brown eyes? Be like, did you write Ocean Eyes about me?
I was like, quick question. Did you write the song about me? Real quick. Did you write the song about me? Yeah. That would be... Would your life end if they just said yeah?
Or what if you're looking at it, it says ... she's typing, and then it just goes away, and then she blocks you.
What if you told an athlete, have a great game tonight, and they DM'd you and said, I'm doing this for you, and they dropped 50? What would you do? What if they dropped it and then they deleted it? As you never explain. I never know.
One of the I DM'd one of the Cal Poly soccer players and said, and he said, all right, this next season is for you. And then the season got canceled for COVID, and then the next season we got eliminated in the first round of playoffs.
That was clean, man. That was clean.
I don't want to get y'all's hopes up that Sean White is going to be on the podcast, but me and Sean White have developed a bit of a relationship.
Yeah, they've been texting. They've been texting since early 2016.
He said, drop some questions in the comments. I'll respond to them in a video. I dropped a comment, dropped a question. He liked it. Which means...
In that mind, he's on the podcast.
Which means that Sean White has acknowledged my existence.
Exactly. Just like those other
Now, what's
TikTok
interesting
chicks.
is that he did not make a video about it. He did not make a video about anybody's comments yet. But he did like mine.
Maybe the PR team hasn't gotten to him yet.
The PR... His TikTok is just him eating food while watching while watching snowboarding videos. I don't think it's a PR team.
What if he does that to one of our videos? It's like a mock draft of you in here talking, and he's just...
He duets it. Oh, this is trash. But he's acknowledged. He knows that I exist.
He probably thought you were cute.
Do you think that's why he liked the comment?
I think so. He wants your number.
You don't think? I haven't checked my DMs. Maybe he's in them.
Oh no, it's probably your junk folder. You need to check.
I got a notification that said Sean White liked your comment, and then somehow within 5 minutes I had allowed my imagination to spiral until I convinced myself that he's hopping on the podcast.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like one thing led to another. I was like, okay, then he's gonna respond, then I'm gonna respond.
That Madden YouTuber that DM'd me, I'm coming for you, bro.
Dobby says drop a like, comment, and subscribe.
Hey, just drop a comment on the podcast, man. We could really use some views and money, and you guys think this is a house? It's actually a box.
High five is right here. Just flying. You have to mute it.
I spend hours in Premiere Pro trying to edit out the background noise of cars zooming by. We're actually in the median in between northbound and southbound on the 5. That's right.
Dude, what if I told you a real story before we're done real quick? I was running to the gas station. I saw a car accident happen, and it was like turning to nighttime, and in my head I just heard justice. Like I just ran over there. It was like a bumper to
Oh, like you were gonna run and save it.
It was just a fender bender, and I was like, justice.
What have you done to him?
Like he's gonna get the car. Like, oh, sorry, man. I was gonna come from the shop, grab him, and go, I'll kill you.
In DC Comics, there's the multiverse where there's a universe where every possibility is true. There's a universe where Batman is not Bruce Wayne, but instead is Pat McAfee.
Interesting.
And he beats people up and then writes for the brand in blood and then leaves.
It's like Ben Affleck's Batman where he brands them, but it says for the brand. For the brand. There.
And his first target is DC.